Okay, wow. Mr. Producer, thank you so much for taking us live. And ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live. We are live on a Friday morning afternoon. Friday afternoon. Welcome to it. We call this, it's a rap for Pop and Chats. My name is Nkosi. And I, like usual, I'm the host, and I'll be with you for the next 30 minutes or so as we get to sit down with some of, amazing people who are doing amazing things in their field. It's the season what? Season 3? Season 4, technical producer, please help me. But we are running on some season, and today it is the premiere of the season. So we're starting with episode 1 for 2023. And I'm doing this with having the pleasure. I hope I don't ramble and talk and then not give her a chance. But having the pleasure of having such beautiful talent, and her name is Gina Mabasa, who's joining me all the way. I'll assume that they're in Pretoria because they have a show tonight. We'll be talking all things music. We'll be talking all things artisticness. We'll be talking all things creative, and you can be part of the conversation. If you have a question for them, please use the comment section below. We are live on Facebook, on our Facebook pages, Orang Pop In, and also on our YouTube channel, which is at Orang Pop In. Hashtag is a rap with Gina Mabasa, and also www.popin.org gives you the behind the scenes. Gina, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate this. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. I am great. A bit tired, but I'm good. How are you doing?
Were you gigging before, or were you rehearsing for today's gig?
I was just rehearsing. It's been rehearsals, yeah.
Oh, okay. Mr. Producer, you're still on my screen. I don't know if that's the layout that you're going with this Friday, or I'm not catching the vibe.
I'm having network issues, so that's why I'm unable to move on the screen. But as soon as I can, I will.
It's fine. Stick around and move around if you can. But Gina, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, I when I think about today's show, or tonight, why do I say today? Tonight's show, I'm thinking creative. I'm thinking an experience. But I want us to, a little bit later on unpack that. But before we get there, I want to ask you this: that in your view as a musician, how has the music storytelling sort of like evolved, and maybe perhaps you can double from when you were beginning until now?
Okay, how we've evolved with music in general, I would say, remember back in the days, everything had a look. Besides music, everything arty had a look. For you to be an actress, you had to have a certain look for TV, a certain look for theater. Same as singing, you had to look very sexy. Your Lebo Matosas and your Brenda Fasses were very sexy, as much as they were legend that, but they were very sexy. So now I just feel like what we've overlooked, or what we've overcome is one of those things whereby now it's just purely talent and just talent. And what was your other question?
No, I just wanted to know if how have we sort of like evolved, or how the storytelling through music has evolved over time.
I think now anything can be a story. I can just make a song about me fixing my bed, or how I fix my bed in the morning. That's where we at. And at the end of the day, some people will see it as not being creative, but that is the art. Like, that is being artistic. Why is it that when then someone decides to make a painting or a canvas of some sort with salt, it's considered art? But then if I'm gonna do a song about how I go about my day, it's not as creative, because then everybody does it, but no one has ever thought of doing a song like that. You know what I mean? So I just feel like now literally anything and everything goes, which is good and bad, but we'll get there.
We definitely will get there. Which moment in the beginning of your music career has sort of like came full circle? You touched on, Lebo Matosas being, sexy, because music then sort of like had a picture, and we sort of like knew what to relate it to. But in your career, when you look at where you began and when you look now, what has been that one moment that you like, oh my God, this is a sort of like a full circle moment in my music career?
A full circle in what?
In your career, in your music career, which moments where you've experienced that it was sort of like a
Okay.
full circle, a coming of a full circle in your career?
I think for me it would have to be with the people I've worked with.
Yeah.
Firstly, I mean, I've always like been on the background, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a backing vocalist. I've always sort of like shied away from being the main person on stage, like whereby the limelight, the shine is on me. So I think the firstly would have to be like idols, because that's where I think I got to like my exposure, and that's where I got to see that, oh, actually I can do this by myself and for myself. So I'd say that's where it began for me. And I think the people I've worked with, I mean, I've worked with amazing people. I've worked with your
Yeah.
RJ Benjamin. I've worked with the late legendary um, Jonas Gwangwa. I've worked with Hot Sticks Mabuse. I've worked with, you know, a couple of people that I feel have an influence in where I am right now.
Mhm. I sort of want to ask you, but I wanted to ask you this later. We'll touch on Happy.
Excuse me.
Mr. Technical, what's happening there? And I can't mute him.
Mr. Technical must mute himself.
Thank you. Mr. Technical, you should actually move away from the screen. So I sort of want to, I have a question that speaks about who are your music geniuses? And I mean, you touched where, working with Jonas Gwangwa, Sipho Sitwabuse, and I sort of like, I'm thinking if those are your geniuses when it comes to South African music or when it comes to music locally. But let's park that question, and ask you, how would you then describe your sound? If you have, I think also there you said influences you work good with Abu RJ Benjamin and them. Have they influenced your sound? How would you describe your sound to be like? What is your sound?
Okay, so my sound is modern African music. As
Yeah.
in I play it safe like that because I don't want to put a label
Yeah.
in my genre to say, okay, I'm pop or I'm this, because
Mm-hmm.
modern African is literally anything. If I decide to go my piano, that's still modern African. If I decide to go Afro pop, that's still very modern. So what I can say is I go with what flows at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's still very soulful. It still has that Gina touches, and Gina is very
Yeah.
soulful. So you'd
Yeah.
still get that in any genre of music that I would do.
I got you. So definitely it evolves, but people have this tendencies of boxing artists. So I would go to a Gina concert, or a live show, either intimate or big or whatever, and I would perceive your artistry or your music sort of like rendition in a certain way, right? And I'll say, okay, they are a African or modern African genre kind of musician. And then when I hear you doing something R&B or outside of that, of what I know you as, or maybe I've listened to one or that song or went to that one show, I would want to box you. How do you deal with people who look at artists like that, or who say, no, but Gina Mabasa is an African contemporary tapa, musician, and then Jiggy Jiggy now they're doing something R&B. They are not there. They should specifically be in this box that we sort of like relate to the first show that we went to or the first song that we played from you.
I think people will then only speak about it if it doesn't work for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I mean,
Yeah.
look at. Let's make an example about Thandiswa Mazwai. We know
Mm-hmm.
Thandiswa Mazwai's genre, and it's always been
Mm-hmm.
that. Then she made a song with Black Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
What is it called? I Avumela Makosi, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's still her, but it's very housey. But it works. Nobody complained about it. As in, even if
Yeah.
tomorrow she decides to release a house album, it would still
Mm-hmm.
work because people then can still relate. I think what we try and do is that then we shy away from the people that we are. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've never had to like sing R&B in my life, and then Jiggy Jiggy Gina Mavas is now singing R&B. Maybe then it doesn't work for my voice, or maybe it just doesn't work for the type of listeners I have, and that's where
Yeah.
we kind of miss it, I think.
Mm,
So
I get you.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, Tendrisa also did. I remember there was a an album that she did called Belede. I think it was after her late mom, and it was jazz. And we are like, oh,
Mm.
okay. Well, it was infused with jazz. And we are like, oh, okay, what is this now? But it still had the Tendrisa touch, and I would like to think that the album did very well. When we talk about things that music addresses, you know, being the month of love, one could say music is addressing, the issues of love. Somebody, who does amapiano would say it is more spiritual in the sense that, we hear a lot of amapiano song touching into church and addressing the church stuff. What, if you were to look at your genre or your music, what do you think your music is addressing? And personally looking at holistically, or we can even go with a specific song that, currently resonates with you. What is that song currently addressing in the bigger scheme of things?
Okay, so firstly, but I think with me, when I write music, it's literally just about what I'm going through at that point in
Mhm.
time. Um, Sometimes I just find myself just writing lyrics or just writing something down and then I put it aside. Maybe it doesn't have a melody, it doesn't have
Mhm.
anything. I just write it and put it aside.
Yeah.
And so with me, I would say, okay, currently there's a song that um I'm gonna debut today, kind of,
Mhm.
which I don't really relate much with it, but some people do relate with it. So it's called Boya, which means come back. It's about a woman that left her kids in the villages and she's now living a city life. We see a lot of that with girls from your Sentin, whereby they left home, even if they don't have kids, but maybe they left a family and maybe
Yeah.
the family is only dependent on them and they're just living a city life and they've forgotten about everything else
Yeah.
back there. You know what I mean? So people, I think with me is that I try to open it up that any person, any age group can relate with, my music.
Hmm. And what has been the inspiration, I guess, maybe to continue doing music? Because I don't think that your journey in the music industry, doing music, doing what you do, has never came with challenges. I think everyone sort of like has those challenges, and perhaps maybe some are more challenged than others, especially when it comes to the entertainment industry or the music industry. But what has kept you? What has kept you inspired to continue writing, to continue doing shows like the show that you're doing tonight, to continue performing, to continue just being Gina Mabasa? What has been that inspiration?
It firstly comes from the people.
Yeah.
Before me, I feel like it comes from the people. Like having to receive a text, a DM from a stranger, or even if it's someone you know, and they tell you how they appreciate your work, they see your work, that on its own for me is motivation enough to continue. And another thing is that for me, music really saved me. I was a lost
Yeah.
child in my previous life. So yeah, I just feel like without music, I'm literally just gonna go down in shambles. I'm honestly like music saved me. If
Yeah.
we can talk to someone that has met me probably in 2009 or 10, and we have a conversation with them now, they'd say, "Wow, I'm talking to a different Gina," you
Yeah.
know. So I think those are the two main reasons why I continue. And I think also, like you said, it's very spiritual. It's a calling at the
Mhm.
end of the day, it is a calling. Besides the glitz and the glam, besides all the fame that comes with it or whatever that comes with it,
Yeah.
it's really just it's a calling. Yeah.
I got you. You touched on a year, and I think sometimes when we write or when we express ourselves, it has that element of healing, and sometimes the healing stems from a particular year that happened, or rather a particular incident that happened in a particular year. You touched on 2010, that if somebody were to meet you now as compared to the you that was in 2010, there would be growth, or rather they'll see the growth and they'll see that there's a difference. What about that year that has contributed, or what about that year that was challenging? I guess maybe that I should phrase it like that. That then you feel to talk about it or to sort of like relate to it when you answer such a question.
Okay, obviously that's like a life that I'm not gonna
Mhm.
say it's a life I'm just gonna cancel out in my life, because it was a those years were like life listening. Like I got to
Mhm.
learn, I got to like it eye opening for me. What about it is that I was just really like those years. I was really in a dark place. I didn't know what it is that I wanted to do with my life. You know, I have a family that's here that says you need to go to school. I'm like, no, that's not where I want to go. But I don't know what it is that I want to do. You know, understand what I mean? So it's those things that I don't know. And I'm not speaking bad about people that are not doing anything with their lives right now because situations are not the same. But it's like I would have probably been one of those girls that just sits at home, probably has 2 kids, 3 kids, different baby daddies, no money, nothing. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just that for me. It's not something that I'm willing to like write it off and say, no, Gina in 2010 doesn't exist. She still exists because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I am, and I keep on pushing because of that Gina.
True. I got you. If you just joined us, welcome to it, man. We call this It's a Wrap on a Friday. This is where we get to sit around with interesting individuals who are doing interesting things. And today, it is no exception. I'm joined by Gina Mabasa, who is my guest. They're a musician and they have an interesting show that is happening tonight. Or why do I feel like I should say today, but it's happening this Friday after this interview.
Today, just say today.
Today, just just say today on the third is the third, right? 3rd of February. It's happening at the State Theatre. We're gonna touch a little bit later on that. If you have a question for her, please by all means make sure that you send it through. We are on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Aura Pop, and that's where we live. Also, we are live on our YouTube channel. And you can send through some of your questions there as well with the hashtag it's a wrap with Gina Mabasa on Twitter, and follow us on TikTok as well. It is at @orampopin. So we are all there. www.popin.org gives you the behind the scenes and gives you, I guess, the more up close and personal feeling of who we are. I want to touch, Gina, on a song, right? Your first song. And everyone, well, I think I've had this experience with artists. What was the first song? They're like, yo, no, I was there. Yo, no, I was not. I actually don't know how to write. I don't know what I was writing or whatever. And they would, yes, be proud that they wrote that because that's how they felt then. You know, that's the beginning of their journey. And then I'd say, how did the song go? So for you, what was that first song that you wrote, right? Either you released it or you didn't. Either it's still sitting in the archive somewhere in the crate. Either, you just wrote and you never even gave it. What was that one song? And if you remember the melody or how it goes, please, how did it go?
If you want to know how the song goes, please come to my show because I'm actually gonna do the song.
Okay.
So the first song I ever wrote is called Manana, which means mother. I wrote it for my mother. It was at a time where she was sick. You know, sometimes as human beings, it takes certain moments for us to appreciate what we have. So she was really sick. And I was like, damn, I might be losing my mama. So let me but in my home, we are not really affectionate people. I think I'm the only affectionate person. So for me to tell my mom I love her, it takes a toll. You know what I mean? It's either it can come out with an SMS, but in Ganji, it never really happens. It's just not affectionate. So I was like, okay, maybe my way of expressing how I feel about this woman, let me then write a song for her. So it also just goes, it's also relatable to like single mothers because it just speaks about how I was raised by a mother who I didn't get to feel the gap of not having a father. So they were basically my mother and my father. So yes.
Got you.
So if you want to hear the song, come to the show today. I'm going to perform it.
Yeah, we should come to the show. Which song then do you listen to? Either I don't want to be biased and say songs by your like the close people that you've, or possibly maybe just even take it there. But which song do you listen to and you feel like I feel like I wrote that. For me, I'm not a musician by all means, but I can tell you when Simpiwe Dana sings, there's that relation or I feel like they were writing and they were seeing my situation. It goes on even with Langa Mavuso. It goes on even with Bongezi Mabanda. Like especially Bongezi. Oh my God, I don't know what is it about you guys as musicians, but sometimes you write and then I feel like Gina was writing the song while I was sitting there narrating or telling her what I'm feeling. For you, what is that song and by who, perhaps?
It's a song called Self Love. I think that if anybody can relate with that, as in you have to love yourself, protect yourself. You know, nobody owes you nothing in this world. You're on your own. So I think that's that. And I think also it could just be with any other song that I have, because we go through phases in life, phases actually, not faces, phases in life. And with every phase, somebody else went through that or is going to go through that. So when you write about, like, okay, I have a song that's out called New Mood, for example. When I wrote that song, it was at a point I was really doubting myself. Like, it was doubt, doubt, doubt. Isn't, do I even still belong in the arts? Am I even talented? Am I? You know, there were a lot of questions. And it's like, even somebody that works in an office, somebody that's an IT technician, they might be performing badly for that period. Then they start doubting themselves, as in, is this really what I'm even meant to do? You know what I mean? So with every song, but one that really just highlights everything, the one that stands out, I'd say it's Self Love.
Okay, I get you. Now that question about music geniuses, um, locally and both internationally, who are those? You look at them, you're like, oh my God, they have who's this? The Einstein brain when it comes to music. They're so genius. They're super. Who are those? If you have them.
I mean, internationally, obviously, guys, we all know that Beyonce is like on top of our list. Not that she's somebody I listen to, but I'm just saying, let's just put it out there. Let's give her
We
her
can't afford
flowers
her
because,
tickets
wow,
though. She's not coming to Africa.
she's not. We are all sad because she doesn't like us in South Africa, but it's fine. It's all right. It's all right. You know. So I'd say internationally, I would have to say, I'm not saying I look up to her, but I'm just saying, like, whatever it is that she's doing it right. Because I mean, who performs for 45 minutes in Dubai and gets paid for $24 million? You know. So anyway, yeah, I think for me in South Africa, I would say maybe because I love Misaki. She's doing great, even though now it's said that she doesn't want to perform anymore. But Misaki has it because, listen, Tandi Samazai still has it. It doesn't matter where Tandi Samazai performs in South Africa, it'll still be sold out. I think now your Bongeziwe Mabandlas have it. Mandi City Aunties have it because they post now, it's sold out. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think with current people, recent people, it would have to say Mandisi and Bongeziwe. And then when it comes to legends, we'll give it to Tandis.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so jealous. I want to also add Zoe Mudicha in there. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, Zoe. How did I forget Zoe?
Zoe. Oh my God, she's amazing. But nonetheless, I see who your geniuses are. Do you potentially want to dabble in a songwriting or collaboration, a young collab with either of them? Is it something that you think about, intentionally to say, I want to work with a Tandiswa one day?
With the people I mentioned, I don't think so, because sound wise we are very different. We are like on two opposite ends. But maybe it can work. We don't know. It would be great. Let me not chase all the blessings away. But I see myself writing a song probably with your son L. I see myself collaborating with someone like Malay. I see myself collaborating with someone like Amanda Black. I mean, my voice is compared mostly to Malay, so that's why she will always be on top of the list when it comes to vocalists. Yeah, your Amanda Blacks, I think those people.
When you mentioned Malay, I had a moment because she's my favorite, currently my favorite. Well, has always been my favorite. Two songs from her, Chimsoro and Nje. I don't know where that girl went, but we need I posted a status about a week ago. I was like, whatever Malay did on Chimsoro, it will never be done again. I don't know I don't care who you is. That song is pure. It's so beautiful. We miss her. She should come. If you know where Malay is, please tag her and tell her that we need her to come back. Finally, let's talk about tonight. Something is happening at the South African State Theatre. Tell us more about that.
So I have a show called The Third Floor Experience at the State Theatre at the Opera Foyer. I'm busy with it. Busy interview, mom. Sorry. Yeah. So it's from 8 p.m. It's gonna be an hour and 30 minutes show. It's just music. I'm just gonna take you guys through a journey of self-discovery. I'm also turning 30, so this is a gift from me to me. So yeah, so it's gonna be amazing, and I'm working with really amazing musicians. I'm working with superstars, guys. Tickets is only 150, so if you can make it, please do.
Most definitely. I want to say, who have you worked with on tonight's show? You say you've worked with some amazing people. Let's mention them. A few of them, rather.
Okay, so I work. My producer and my musical director is Tato Modika. Tato Modika has worked with people like your Amanda Black, Elaine, a couple of people, and I'm working with Lebogang Maunatla, who's also an MD. He plays guitar. I mean keyboard. He's worked with Nati or Ringo. He's worked with amazing people, and I have a lady on backing vocals who's Rorisang Sicheli. She's also an independent musician. She's amazing. She had her show last week, so it's yeah. It's just I'm just working with a great team.
Yeah, it answers Happy's question when they ask what can we expect for tonight's show. I'm gonna double that question and say, what kind of an experience can we expect as the audience from tonight's show?
So it's kind of like laid back, chilled. Let's chill. Let's listen to Gina. Let's listen to Gina's stories. Let's just listen to the music. Yeah, there's not. I think it's just chilled vibes. Chilled vibes. Really, let's just have a different kind of Friday. Let's
You
have a
know,
different kind of Friday. Let's just listen to live music. We're just gonna be jamming. Most of the songs are in Tonga, and yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cannot wait. Let's quickly check out the comments. Offensive Mawisa Matope says, coming tonight, my people tuned in. I think Mawisa is on their way to you, to the show rather. She's on. I need to get, and I've been saying to her that I need to get her pronouns right because it's a new discovery of mine. I used to go, or rather pronounce her as they, them, but now I think it's she, her. So Mawisa is coming and she's excited about that. Thank you so much, Mawisa, and condolences to Mawisa and the team R5 for losing one of the kings of Bakadi. I think that crown is just going to forever be R5. And well done on the beautiful ceremony that you held for R5 yesterday on their memorial service. But they are coming through, or she's coming through to the show. Happy Phaleng says, I'm bringing my Shivelani.
Bring it now.
I would love to say it. I would love to say it. Yeah, I mean, they're saying they're excited to be part of the show tonight at 8 p.m. So tickets are available at the gate door for 150, right? And it's happening at the Opera Theatre. Give us more details. Say that again. 8 p.m. tickets at the gate. Which opera or which floor?
It's by the Opera Foyer. Opera Balcony.
Opera Balcony. Yeah.
Yes.
So people can expect a chilled vibes for a Friday. And we can all head there to support Gina Mabasa. Let's talk projects before we wrap it up. Recent project that is out there that you want us to know about. Any other side project that you're having besides the main project that you're trying to push? Give us details.
Okay, so I have 2 minutes left. I have to go. But anyway, so at the moment, with how the people are going to receive the music, we'll then be working on an album.
Yeah.
So that would be my next project. And
do you have a name yet?
just trying to push this third floor experience for the rest of the year. You know what I mean? And it's also going to be out on YouTube. So whoever can't make it to the show can still get it on YouTube by a week after today.
Okay.
On my YouTube, so they would need to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and yeah.
I will link your YouTube account on this conversation so that we can join in for those that we are able to come to tonight. Plans for 2023. That's my last question, and I'm going to let you go. Plans for 2023, 2024. Speaking of an album project coming up, but beyond that.
It's just literally just album, album, album,
Yeah.
and performing
Yeah.
big stages. Those are the plans for this year.
Definitely. Listen, love and light to you and your team. Good luck for tonight.
Thank you so
Leave
much.
your heart on the stage. I know it's going to be a beautiful experience, and I am and cannot wait to see what's in store for us. But thank you for your time for today, and please circle back to give us that link for those that have missed the show.
All right.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much for having me. Please also follow me on Gina Mabasa, every platform. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me. It was really amazing. I had fun.
Most definitely. And we will link all Gina's details on this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us for a Friday, man. I'm going to see you next week, Monday, for Come Monday, as we tackle STIs all the way. As we know that February is STI month, or sexual reproduction month. That's what we focus on healthy living. We help focus on STIs and condom and all that. So make sure that you join me next week, Monday, as we sit down with some of your faith to speak about that and more. But for today, we are done. Oh, Dumelang, Barati, Gina. Hi, Sally. Thank you so much for joining us. You've missed the show. You can still watch it. But thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to see you next week, Monday. Until then, happy streaming. Bye. Mr. Producer, you can now come on the screen and take us away. Okay, I don't know. I don't think they hear me. But nonetheless, thank you so much for tuning in. Happy streaming. Goodbye.